In these problems, we will be stating what additional information is required in order to know that the triangles are congruent for the given reason. So these are the problems that we will be solving. And by the way, these questions are given in a Kuta software website. So let's have question number 11 here. Now, the given theorem is high-leg theorem. And we're going to identify or determine the part which is missing in the given two triangles for these two triangles to be congruent by high-leg theorem. So in a given problem, okay, now the given congruent sides are hypotenuse. So we have hypotenuse and hypotenuse. Oh, by the way, these two triangles are right because of this symbol half square. Okay, and since we have already hypotenuse, so what missing is the leg. So we're going to find the leg. And since there are two legs, therefore, we could use the DE, okay, for the and the corresponding part WV. So the answer is DE is congruent to WV, or we could also use the DF, which is congruent to the segment or the side XV. So either answer, now we could prove that these two triangles are congruent using the high-leg theorem. Okay, now let's go to the next item. Let's use item number 12. Okay, number 12. Now using leg-leg theorem, we're going to identify or determine the missing part to make these two triangles congruent. So we have leg and a leg, or leg one, and these two angles are right triangle, by the way. So we need to check if they're right or not first before applying the leg-leg theorem given. And since we already found one leg, we need to find another leg. So the other leg is this, the AC and the XV. We cannot have the hypotenuse, since hypotenuse is not considered as leg of a right triangle. So therefore, the missing part is segment or side or leg AC should be congruent to the segment XV for these two triangles be congruent using the leg-leg theorem. Okay? Now, let's proceed to the next item, number 13. Try to answer this by pausing the video first. And once you're done, you can continue playing the video and check whether our answers are correct or not. So let's solve. Using leg-leg theorem, let's determine the side missing, or the part missing for these two triangles to be congruent. So let's check these two triangles are congruent because of this notation or label. So let's find out. We have angle, angle. There are no labels on the sides, but it says here that leg, leg. So there must be two corresponding legs of these two triangles to be congruent for us to conclude that these two triangles are congruent. However, these two triangles are using or sharing common side or common leg. That's KM. So we know that KM is congruent to KM by reflexive property, right? So we already identified one leg. And where's the other leg? Okay, of course, since this is hypotenuse, we can never use this for leg. And the other side missing or left is this. Okay, the segment or the side HM, and we have the ML or the LM. So these two legs should be congruent for these two triangles to be congruent by leg-leg theorem. Okay, now let's move on to the next item, number 14. Okay, so let's determine the value. So here, we will be using the hypotenuse angle. Now, given is the angle, and the angle, oh, by the way, we need to check if these two triangles are right. Yeah, they're right because of the label. Okay, so we already identified the angle. And the missing part is hypotenuse. Since this is the hypotenuse and this is the hypotenuse, and this hypotenuse must be congruent to one another for us to hypotenuse, for us to consider that these two triangles should be congruent or will be congruent by HA or high angle. High means hypotenuse. High angle theorem. So that's MN is congruent to CD. Okay? By high leg, then they're congruent. Okay? Now, let's move on to the next. Number 15. Okay. Number 15. Leg angle. Okay, try to check if this triangle, uh, okay, try to check these problems and identify the parts. Oops. Identify the parts, the missing parts that will make the given triangle congruent using the given theorem. In number 15, it's the leg angle, hypotenuse angle, high leg, and the leg angle. Okay, and tell us the results or your answers.